We just want to give back to the city, point blank. Just don't want to be stressed and always, I just always feel as though we're targeted. And just being honest, that's just how I always feel. It's just like it's always something that has to cause us stress instead of this is what's the problem, fix the problem, let's move on to a new day. So we're here today just asking if we could be told if there was any issues. I know that the issue with the leaking in the back part of the room, I mean, I'm not Stevie Wonder, I can see that that's a problem, and we just want to get fixed. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner. So if you tell me what it is that's supposed to be done, I might not can do it, but I can hire the right people, and I married the right one, we can get it done. I do not want this building demolished. We have the funds, we have the equity, we can fix it. It's not a problem. And basically that's it. Like I said, we just want to know what it is that needs to be done so we can do it.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
You've been in the building, obviously, we've seen it. Have you assessed any of the damage yourself?
Have I assessed any? Well, the downstairs part, I see.
We're talking specifically, or mainly, it's the one-story rear piece right now.
Okay, the one-story rear piece. Yeah, the flashing is not done on those skylights, and I turned in the wrong documentation to Mr. Tom because the skylights were supposed to be added on the plans and they wasn't. So that was an error on my end, and we're going to correct that and get that done. So the only issue that I see, and I'm the one that been down there a lot, is the leaking in the back part around those skylight areas. I have my son in there and my husband and myself, and I'm not going to jeopardize that for anything. So there's no type of safety issues that is going on that I can see that I'm aware of. I also am a contractor for the state of Ohio.
Okay, did you submitted a drawing to the building department?
I did, probably like a year ago.
What kind of drawing was it?
It was for the roof. We pulled a roof.
Repair. Okay, but you haven't had, you said you've looked at it, but you have anybody else, an engineer-wise, who's looked at that roof and said it's fine, all you gotta do is re-roof it?
Back in 2018,
No, I'm talking.
he doesn't
last
come
year.
here. Yeah, no, he doesn't. See, this all just came up. This all just came up to us. We were aware of,
This is structural engineer.
okay.
He stated part of the roof, regard that, everything is good.
Okay, well, we walked through it at 2 o'clock, and I can tell you, just from me looking at it, structurally, a third of that roof is, the roof joists are bad. They're rotten from the top down. I'd be willing to bet over half the roof sheeting is rotten, and I can see pieces that are falling in.
Yeah.
So this is not, the roof is not safe.
Where did you see something falling in at?
I didn't take pictures of anything there, but.
I didn't see anything falling in but water. So if you could tell me where that was at, then maybe I can answer the question, because I didn't see no type of
Okay.
material.
In the east section, which is basically the low end section there, the roof joists in that area, I believe, are either 2x10s or 2x12s, and
Okay.
there's 5 of them in the middle that are rotten at the top.
And that was falling in?
Well, they're going to fall in. There's
Okay.
roof sheeting around those areas is rotting because it's continually leaking. In the center section, there are several pieces in there where I think they're like 1x6s or 1x4, that's the roof sheeting, that have failed and a couple have fallen in.
I haven't
They're
seen
hanging from
any.
the ceiling.
Oh, no, that wasn't, I don't think that, I'm not a structural engineer, but what I can do, and I'm on record stating that, is when we hire our structural engineer, I have him come in and say what's wrong with the roof, get the report to him, and we'll fix it. So that's not a problem.
Well, you're appealing a ruling to have the building demolished, is that?
Yeah, the entire structure is what we want to get demolished.
Okay, and when did that, what's the date of that, that you sent that to them?
December 8th, 2020. And then they didn't get it, and I think I resent another one in, I believe it was in January. Because they were never picked up. Yeah, another January 11th was another one that was sent, and we adjusted the date due to the fact that it wasn't picked up and Miss Moore didn't get it.
Owens?
Miss Owens, I'm sorry.
So January 11th of this year.
Correct.
Okay, and that was an order to demolish?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
along
so-
with that, had the three options, either fix it, they can have their own contractor demolish it, or the city will take it down. Those are the three options.
Okay, and since then, has they given you anything other than calling on the phone? Have we got a letter or anything saying this is what we're going to do?
One thing we got was the appeal to the
To this board?
yeah, to this board, and I got it somewhere, but it's, but it's the appeal to the board, and that's why we're here today. I have received no sealed plans on this, what they had in mind, what uses they plan on putting in it, nothing to date.
Okay, well, just for that rear section alone, besides having a structural engineer look at it, he's gonna have to give you a drawing
That's fine. We can pay for that.
that tells the city, this is what you're going to do.
Okay.
And for as long as it's sitting here, I think somehow or other, there's gotta be some kind of deadline on it, that if you don't do it, that then you agree, if you don't have it done by, end of May, or,
I have no problem with that. If I could just possibly get until the end of June, the reason why I'm saying that, I'll have it to him probably before June, but our engineer will not be back into this area until the Monday after Memorial Day. I do have documentation where I've been speaking with him in reference not to just this, but to other things that we wanted to do to the building already. And he said that he's fine with coming back and doing whatever it is that we need. So I'm willing to have a deadline on that, not a problem. I want to get this taken care of as soon as everybody else do, So
Okay.
I want to have this done by the 4th of July. I want to have it pretty. I got the colors. I got everything that I want to do to the outside of this building. I just need the time. And I know everybody put everything on COVID, but it really, really, really backed us up. I mean, it really backed us up. And that's not nobody's problem. I'm just stating what happened, But we don't want this building tore down. We got the funds to make it right, and we're going to make it right. We're trying to make it one of the best looking buildings in downtown Sandusky, in all honesty. We just need time to do it. So I know when you were there, you saw all the material that was in the basement and also in that front part. We're trying to put all of that into this building.
okay, what the material in the basement, what was it for?
That was like the roughing stuff. That was
Okay,
like,
that's waterproofing for exterior walls, not roofing.
it was,
That's interior here. Talking about the non-pipe?
The Mayor Dry that was in the basement?
yeah.
It said it
Then
was all waterproofing.
Yeah.
it's like that's,
Oh, it's two different materials down there.
yeah, then it's another thing of,
It's a brick retaining roofing, adhesive.
You can take your mask off. If you want.
Okay, I just, but it's a more material down there.
Okay. Well, if you're done, if there's anything else you want to tell us, if not, let's go right around the room, so, or something additional you want to tell us?
No, I just wanted to make sure you was hearing me
Okay.
when you was talking.
Does your attorney have something she wants to tell us?
you don't got nothing else you want to say? That's what he's asking. You got anything you say about the building? That you want to say or I didn't say?
Well, basically, she said everything, waiting for the structural engineer to come in. You said the issue with the roof, have them look at that and go from there, basically, and get everything that y'all say you seen wrong, get it right. That's basically, she said it basically in a nutshell. If you got
Okay.
any questions for me, I feel free.
No, I'll wait till she's done.
Okay.
So, yes, and I, will you go to the podium as well?
Please.
This off so maybe you can hear a little better, so it's not so muffled. Shamika Owens has made it clear that she does not want this building demolished. They have every intention on getting it up to code. so that it doesn't pose any type of a public safety. So they're taking option one that's listed in the order to get it fixed. They've been working on it. I believe you've seen. I think the biggest problem is that back room, the one-story part. The other part of the building seems to be in order. I believe you do have a copy of the structural certification. It's the foundation, basement, and structural certification from Blake, I believe, Wisdom Blake. He's an engineer. Found, just some issues with the floor, but overall, the structure is sound. He's saying that the foundation walls in the basement are overall structurally sound. There may be some settlement in the southwest corner that shows up as cracks on the exterior walls, but there is no visual evidence of this movement in the basement. The damage on the exterior is mostly caused by leaking roofs and water intrusion. Much of the rear wall will need to be rebuilt. I believe they've taken care of the rear wall. The primary concern is to fix all the roof leaks and water intrusion, then make the necessary repairs, damage interior framing, leaving all the existing joist braces in place to help with the damaged ends and old fire damage. Apparently there was a fire there at some point in time. COVID has made it a little difficult in timing to get the materials. I think we're all aware that there's been a shortage on some things, but they are diligently working. That's just what, the statute here, or the city code is saying that they have to use due diligence. I believe they are doing that. And we would just ask the city to give them some time to get their structural engineer here, have him re-inspect anything, if there's any other issues. I don't believe there's any imminent danger, which is, again, pursuant to Chapter 1345. There's found to be imminent danger to the public or unfit for occupancy or use. I don't believe in the rest of the building, other than that first, the one-story part of it. They said they're doing a lot of work and wanting to make it, a nice building. And who knows, down the road what uses may come of it. But they are intending on making it a nice building, safe building for the city of Sandusky and its residents. I believe that it is something that the city would, I would assume, like to see, instead of tearing it down and having a vacant lot, to have a nice building that could be used for occupancy that could possibly generate more income to the city. And I guess that's all. We're just hoping that the city will allow them this time to complete their repairs and the work to be done.
Okay, I've got some additional comments, but I'd like the other three board members here to have the opportunity. So Roger, is there anything you'd like to ask question-wise or a statement?
Well, I made some notes when I got back to the office. I'll leave the structural integrity up to the architects or some structural person, but I observed the same problems in that back room that Mr. Fike did. I saw rotten planking and rotten joists, and all of the skylights are either installed improperly or old, and that whole roof needs to be redone. The mechanical systems in the building are 40 to 50 years old, and for safety, they probably all need to be replaced. I don't know what their plans are for that, but that's a big deal for safety. I looked at the letter that we received from the city, and this building was first condemned in 2002. It's now 2021, so this has been going on for 19 years, not necessarily with these owners, but with different owners. And we've met on this building before. I think it was 2 years ago. If they're going to try and talk us into this, they need to be honest and truthful. There's no way they're going to get done what they intend to get done by July. That's only a few months. to fix up the inside of that building. They're talking about renovated flooring, ceilings, walls, stairs, mechanical, electrical, and then additional work to the outside of the building, which I still see places where that's a safety issue. And I think we met on this building about 2 years ago, and she just stated that they just finished repairing the back wall last week. So progress is way too slow. In 19 years, they've had one racquetball court drywalled and the back wall fixed and a roof that's not done right. I believe that they are sincere in wanting to save the building and fix it up, but I just don't see any progress in that being done.
May I comment to him?
When we're done, thank you. Mr. Schmidt, do you have anything you'd like to ask or a statement you'd like to make? I don't know if he's on
You're
mute.
muted.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, my concern goes in line with what Roger was just saying about, the letter that I have, this building was condemned in October of 2002. So for 19 years, it's sat the way it currently exists. There was also a report in May of 2018, another one in October of 2014. So it just continues on. They can say that they're doing repairs, but I'm not seeing anything visually. And walking through there today, it's in really bad shape. We obviously all saw the water issues in that back room, but there's also a water leak in the corner of the front room. And that has nothing to do with the skylights because it's on the higher side of that roof. So it's either where a wall goes up to the second or third floor. The skylights are leaking. There's also some vents or piping in that roof area that had a big leak in it. The stucco is falling off the exterior of the building. It's heavily cracked. The flashing at the roof, there's areas where there is no flashing at the roof. So that water is just running into the walls. I would have a big concern. I would like to see a testing agency come in and do a mold report and inspect the walls and see how much mold is in that building. I did see some knob and tube old wiring. I don't know if it's active or not. I'm concerned with the repair on the back wall. I would like the structural engineer to comment on that. Seeing rebar sticking out of the wall and it's not flush or level. I'm not sure how those repairs were done, but I would definitely want the structural engineer's report to include how that wall was rebuilt at the top of that CMU wall. I don't know, the list goes on, but for me, I think we need to see a mold report as well. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Rucker, it's your turn.
Thank you.
You're mute, Steve.
You're muted, Steve.
You're muted, Steve.
Unmuted.
There you go.
All right. So I don't doubt their sincerity in wanting to bring the building up to current code standards so that it can be reoccupied safely. Having an accurate timeline, again, I don't see June or July being in line with, a second opinion on making all the repairs that are required to bring that building up. Waiting for the engineer's report and some of the other reports that were mentioned from the other members of the board would, I guess, be helpful in making a final decision.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask a couple questions now? You said that your engineer's not in the area. When is he going to be here?
He stated to me via email, and I can show you the email, that he will be back the Monday after Memorial Day. If I could just make a quick comment about the condemned status. I purchased this building, I believe, in 2013. Okay, 2013. If you go on the Erie County Auditor's website and take a look, I purchased this under a warranty deed. This is the first that I keep hearing that this building was condemned. I had no recollection whatsoever that this building was in condemned state when it was sold. It was auctioned off. It was a warranty deed. Nothing was ever said to me about that. I contacted the realtor not too long ago, and just to re-verify, she said the building wasn't condemned. I have reports here that the building official, Mr. George Palauis, issued permits in 2006, 2007, and then actually when I was the owner there with one of the tenants in 2016, nobody said that the building was condemned. Mr. Rucker did an inspection for Anthony Myers at that same building in 2017, and everything on it passed. He let him operate his business. It was a studio. Nothing was ever said about nothing being condemned.
Well, whether it was condemned in 2000 or 2008 or last week, the issue we're talking about right now is you have an order and they've given you several choices and you're telling us that you want to go with the option one and repair it.
Yes, sir.
So, my question is, first you said that, well, you'd like to have until July 4th, and I can be willing to bet if you ask Mr. Gunlock or Mr. Schmidt, who do this every day, that neither one will tell you that there's any way possible you can have all the work that has to be done.
I'm just trying to show you guys that we have been working at least 10 to 12 hours, 6 days a week hold on, babe. I'm not trying to be rude, just hold on, babe. On this. And it's not that we have not been trying to do. I know one of the gentlemen said it looks as if nothing has been done, but if you would have seen it prior, yes, it has. It's a lot that's been being done in it. And if you guys want to give us more time, my mom always taught me, take more time and get it done before is even better. That's perfectly fine. I'm just really trying to show you guys ways. What I'm saying is we are going to fix this. We're trying to.
What we're going to need is a schedule.
Okay.
Because right now, everything is just sitting. In my estimation, I've seen some cosmetic work done. There is something that was done to the back wall. To what extent, I don't know. Like Mr. Schmidt had said, there's rebar sticking out. To what value that is, what's it doing, I have no idea. But to move forward, in my mind, to say, hey, let's give you more time, I need to have someone say, hey, this is what we're going to do. These are the timeline dates. Here's the milestones. And, so if your engineer's coming in the Monday after Memorial Day, and he's going to do an assessment, he's going to need a couple of weeks to sit down, write a report, and because what you're going to need to move forward is not just be in there doing stuff, but you're going to need to be in there with his drawings and doing the things that he says that needs to be done.
And I'm even open to and to ask if while we're doing that work, if we could set up other meetings where you guys can come in and see that the progress and stuff is going, and making sure that it's up to your expectations and what you want. I have no problem with that. I just want to get this building done right and everything so that we can enjoy it. That's it.
Like a lot of, I was saying, as far as like on this timeline of July, it's basically all the exterior. I know the gentleman said something about the roof and things of that sort, as far as the outside. Inside work, as far as the components, I heard electrical wires. I know we're gonna have to get HVAC person in there to get the ventilation going again, because that's all old. So basically, the outside, that's what everybody basically concerned with, is going to be tackled like right now, today. So I'm not saying the whole place is going to be done inside and outside by July. The major components of what we're talking about and discussing about today will be finished within that timeline. Or, set up a date, things to be getting resolved. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm not looking to have the building finished, ready to bring whatever businesses in there. I'm looking forward, I think, as everybody else on this board is, hey, when is that building going to be safe? Right now, it's not safe. There's major cracks on the corner that everybody sees. That's why the city put sawhorses around it. I agree, it's probably not foundation work. That's something that got damaged from the top down. But it's cracked, it's failing. Your one-story building in the back, the roof is gone. Structurally, there's like nothing there that can be saved.
Well,
So,
he can read the.
I don't know if you say you've got money set aside to take care of this. I see easy, just some structural things that need to be done, $175,000.
It's no problem. Yeah, that's no problem. If you could just give us, like you said, see, like I told you, I'm not a structural engineer, so I didn't know if he needed all that time to, get it. So if you could give us time for him to come, he'd be here the Monday after Memorial Day, and we're meeting with him at 1:30. He can come, and then we can meet back with you guys and show you the reports and show the progress that we're doing. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Well, I'm only one person here. There's three others that have to look at this. But, what I would have to see is something from the structural engineer that said, and I'm talking about a full set of drawings of structural repairs. I'm not concerned about the mechanical, I'm not concerned about the electrical, as long as none of that is ever turned on. But structurally, to make that building solid, I'd want to see him have a complete, I don't need a report. I need a full set of drawings that said, here's everything that needs to be done. And I don't know that he could get that done if he's here the first week of June.
Technology, people can do a lot of stuff now. But as you're saying, a full report, as we had two structural engineers.
I've read the report. The one report that I've seen was 2018. Says your first floor area, you've got rotten floor joists. There's some significant problems down there.
Yeah, and that's been addressed.
Pardon?
Them like the floor joints, that's been addressed.
I was there today. It's not been addressed.
What you saying on that back part?
I was in the front part where the basement is, and all along the west wall, all the joist ends are rotten.
You're talking about in the basement?
In the basement. You've
If they could use the microphone, we can't hear
Yeah,
people
you'll
when they're not up at the microphone.
Sure.
So,
Go up to the
Sorry
podium
about
if you want to talk.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Well, first, I would like to say that it is, from my understanding, the city of Sandusky is basing their order for demolition on, first it's saying something about, one of the things was roofing material that blew off and struck a vehicle. But there's been no evidence provided that this material came from their building. We've talked about it. There's another house next door it could have blown off of. It could have blown off of any of those buildings. There's no evidence that that material came from their building.
I'm not concerned about roofing material that blew off. I'm concerned with roof structure that I can see that is rotten right now.
Right.
That building's ready to fall in.
And I'm just referring to this letter dated January 11th for the notice order and pending order of demolition. It also does state that this building was condemned by the city of Sandusky, October of 2002. I know you indicated that you're talking about now, but apparently the city of Sandusky is considering the fact that this building was condemned back in 2002 because that's included in their notice. And according to the city ordinance, looks like this is under 1345.02. Once a building has been condemned, it says that it's not allowed to be transferred, that the building could not be sold, transferred, mortgaged, leased, or otherwise disposed of until the order or notice of violation have been complied with. So either at that time, things were complied with, or it was never condemned because this building was transferred to Shamika Owens. Actually, it looks like it was transferred a couple different times, although it might be the same people and just different. But, Shamika Owens purchased it July 29th, 2013. Also, if that building had been condemned, there should have been a notice posted on it. And there was no notice posted when she purchased the building, nor as of today. I guess what
I'm not concerned with legally what was done and what wasn't done. My concern is, as this board went over there to take a look to see what was there, is what was the shape of the building when we walked through it.
Right,
And
but
it's in
there
bad-
are some city.
It's in bad shape. That's legal issues. That's not, this board hasn't, we don't deal with legal issues.
Well, but you have codes that you have to follow and
Can I
procedures that
interject
must be
really?
followed.
Can I interject really quickly, Chair?
Please.
I think what the chair is trying to say is that what's for the board today is the appeal. And it sounded like the preference of the appellant was to exercise option one and set up a plan for perhaps fixing the issues, which is a different discussion than what you're doing. If that's not the case, and you are trying to present evidence that that the demolition order should not be followed, we can have that discussion, but I guess, which is the preference? Like,
Well, they do want to fix it, but I guess I'm hearing from some of the members of the board that it should be demolished, and the fact that it was condemned.
well, even whether or not there's evidence supporting the condemnation in 2002, there's a valid demolition order. So based on what the facts that support that demolition order, that is what we're here today. So there's a demolition order, and you have the option to, one, remediate, or you can contest the demolition order, at which point the board would make a determination as to whether or not to demolish. So I guess.
So the appellate, Ms. Owens, does want to repair. She's stated that multiple times. What I would propose, it sounds like you want another structural report.
No, I don't want a report. I want, and I think this group here, the board, same thing, is that if you're hiring an engineer, his job is to come in, evaluate the building, and provide a set of construction documents so that they can fix it.
Well, and I guess that's what I was referring as a report.
I don't want a report that says it can't be fixed. I want a report that says this is how we're going to fix it.
Okay, so you want basically the plan of action.
I want a set of construction documents on how to
Okay.
repair this building top to bottom.
So having known that the engineer that they have been working with is not available until first week of June, it sounds like we would respectfully request at least till the end of June to get that instructions on and the plan of how they're going to repair, how they're going to take their corrective action, and then proceed from there. I know they're very optimistic about in July. I too am, especially again, getting materials sometimes has been a little bit difficult due to, I'm assuming, COVID. I don't know. We're remodeling our house, and there's been times that we're having a difficult time finding materials ourselves. So, but if the board would consider giving them until the end of June to provide you the documentation that you're requesting, and then develop a reasonable timeline for this work to be completed. I believe that's basically what my client is asking for, is just a chance to correct
Can we
things.
agree to some dates then?
Certainly.
I don't care when your engineer comes in. I don't know if he comes in next week or 2 weeks or comes in June the 1st, but June the 30th is a Wednesday. And I think you need to agree that by June the 30th, he will have construction documents on how to make that structure safe. you don't have to do any work, but you've got to have a complete set of construction documents of as to what needs to be done, top to bottom, to make that building safe. Okay, that's step one. If that doesn't happen, then you're agreeing that it's okay for the city to proceed with the demolition.
That's fine. We'll have
Okay.
that.
And your engineer, since he's the professional that we're all going to lean on now, and he has to put together a timeline as to what the work that he's proposing, how long it should take. And there should be some specific dates in there as to, okay, the roof can be done by an X date, the structural repairs for the cracks can be done by X date. The stucco that's falling off the building, that makes the people around it unsafe to be around it, will be done by X date. And so that's got to be part of what he turns in on the 30th, and that needs to be turned into the building department for. Then once we have that, then you have to agree that you will to do that. Also on that June the 30th, he should have an idea what those costs are. And I think the city's going to want some kind of letter from you or your bank saying we have the funds to be able to do the work.
That's no problem. We appreciate that, honestly.
Well,
Can
it's
you-
just me talking right now.
Sorry, can you go to the microphone? Yeah, just so we can, yeah. Whoever, yeah, sorry.
His microphone. Yes, I appreciate that. If the board agrees to that, I sincerely appreciate that, and we will definitely do that.
Okay, I'm throw it back to the board and start with Mr. Gunlock. You've heard the dates, Mr. Gunlock. What are your thoughts?
I'm agreeable with the plan. John, you're more familiar, you and Greg, with making architectural drawings and those kind of drawings than I am. Mechanical for us can move along a little faster. Is 4 weeks reasonable for that to be, those kind of drawings to be completed? I just don't want to hit the end of June and say, okay, we need another extension, I'm interested in being reasonable in a timeline so that we don't have to meet again and again.
Okay. Mr. Schmidt, are you there yet?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is Greg. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Going back, looking at this letter, so if we give them till June 30th, we're actually giving them an additional 50 days from the letter dated June 11th said 120 days to prepare the first course of action, to provide the drawings, the structural engineer. So, we're granting them another 50 days to do that. My question is, has the structural engineer seen the building before this? Or is on May, or is the day after Memorial Day, is that the first time that this structural engineer has even seen the building?
No, sir. We've been working with him on multiple units, including this one. So he is familiar.
Then they're very familiar with the building, so they don't have to wait till that day to start their drawings on stucco repair that's been that way for over 7 years. All these items in this letter under option number 1 has been this way for at least 19 years. So if they've looked at the building before, they need to start on their drawings right away and following option number 1. I'm okay with giving you another 50 days of extra time, but I don't think we should go beyond the June 30th. If there's not good, adequate drawings at that point, then it's time to move forward with demolition.
Thank you. Mr. Rucker?
Same as the other two. I have no issue waiting till June 30th, as long as all of the appropriate drawings are submitted.
Okay.
Basically a last chance agreement.
All right, then, it sounds like there's a consensus, so what we need is a motion in that respect.
I'll make the motion that we give them till June 30th to present the proper documents prepared by a design professional.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions on that motion? Do you understand what that motion means?
Yeah. Yes, sir, that we have until June 30th to get the documentation to Mr. Tom about the overall structure, what needs to be done, how we're supposed to do it, and a
Basically, it's everything
guideline.
option one that you've already been presented with.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
A full set of construction drawings to stabilize the complete exterior and that rear roof, reframing,
the
everything
building
that's
as a
needed.
whole.
Everything structurally, not necessarily the interior mechanicals and stuff, but just the structurally, exterior structural elements of that building.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
The clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gunla,
Yes.
Mr. Rucker,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Mr. Bike.
Yes, that motion is approved. You know what you need to do.
I appreciate you guys. I thank you, and we will. Thanks.
Is there anything else that we need to do for today's meeting?
And what? Adjourn the meeting?
Well, it said to go to executive session here, and I
No,
don't know
it's
that
just
we
if you
need
needed
to. Okay, so then we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I heard, I believe Greg and I saw Mr. Rucker second that. So all in favor say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I was looking at the tip, I was like, who turns off the meeting?
Yeah.